Have you ever said something and instantly felt the vibe shift? Your partner goes quiet, the energy gets heavy, you're left thinking, wait, what just happened? It wasn't cheating, it wasn't yelling, it was something more subtle. A tone, a phrase, a behavior you didn't realize could cut so deep. The truth is, most relationships don't end in a dramatic blow up. They slowly fall apart from repeated missteps. The kind we dismiss as not a big deal until it's too late. In today's video, we're breaking down 15 common, but quietly toxic, words and behaviors that can destroy your relationship overnight. This isn't just about romantic relationships. These things can affect friendships, family bonds, and any connection built on trust. Let's get into it. Number one, phrases such as you always or you never listen, you always care more about your phone than me. These phrases seem like honest complaints, but they instantly trigger defensiveness. Here's why it's destructive. They label your partner with absolutes. It feels like a personal attack, not a request for change. Here's a real life example. You always forget what I say becomes you're unreliable and I can't trust you. Even if that's not what you meant. Here's what you can say instead. Lately, I felt unheard when I talk. Can we figure out how to improve our communication? Use I feel instead of you are. That small shift makes a huge difference. Number two, eye rolling, sighing, or dismissive body language. We forget that our face speaks before our mouth does. An eye roll says you're ridiculous. A heavy sigh says I'm over you. And here's why it's destructive it quietly chips away at emotional safety. Over time, your partner stops opening up. Here's an example of that. They tell you about a rough day, and you respond with a sigh or glazed over eyes. That moment sticks with them. Here's what you can do instead stay present, make eye contact, even if you're tired or don't fully agree. Let them feel heard. Emotional safety starts with attention. Number three, stonewalling, aka giving the silent treatment. Instead of arguing, you shut down. You say nothing, you walk out, you let the silence speak for you. Here's why that's destructive. Silence creates fear, not clarity. It tells your partner you don't deserve an answer. Here's an example of that. After a disagreement, you ignore their texts for hours or days. They spiral, unsure if the relationship is still even okay. Here's what you can do instead. Say, I need a moment to calm down. I'll come back when I'm ready to talk. Space is healthy. Abandonment is not. Number four, making jokes at their expense. Relax, it was just a joke. But if the joke stings, it's not harmless. Here's why it's destructive sarcasm masks resentment. Repeated jabs, especially in public, make your partner feel exposed or small. Here's an example of that joking about their weight in front of friends, or mocking their quirks even though they said it upset them. Here's what you can do instead keep the humor mutual, laugh with them, not at them. Number five, comparing them to others. Why can't you be more like, even if you think it's motivating, it's not. Here's why it's destructive it breeds insecurity. It tells your partner that they're not enough. Here's an example of that saying, my ex used to do that for me, will only make your current partner feel inferior, not inspired. Here's what you can do instead focus on your needs without comparison. Say, I'd love if we could try this together. Number six, dismissing their dreams. That's not realistic. You'll never make money doing that. You might think you're being honest, but it's crushing. Here's why that's destructive it says, I don't believe in you, and nothing kills connection like a lack of support. Here's an example of that. They mention wanting to go back to school or start a side hustle, and you shut it down out of realism. Here's what you could do instead say, that's a big dream, and I'm here for it. How can I support you? Encouragement matters, even when it's not your dream. Number seven, keeping score. I did the dishes 5 times this week. What did you do? Love isn't a math question. Here's why that's destructive it turns the relationship into a competition. A scoreboard doesn't build connection, it builds resentment. Here's an example of that bringing up everything that you've done anytime that they slip up. Here's what you can do instead have honest check ins, communicate your needs, but don't keep a receipt. Number eight, saying calm down. Few phrases are more triggering in an argument. Calm down often feels like your feelings are too much. This is why it's destructive. It shuts them down instead of helping them feel safe. Here's an example of that. They're expressing hurt, and instead of validating it, you tell them to calm down, escalating their frustration. Here's what you can do instead. Try, I can see this is important to you. Let's take a break and come back when we're both clearer. Number 9, bringing up the past to win. Ever say, this is just like the time last year? Why it's destructive. It makes healing feel pointless. It shows your forgiveness wasn't real. Here's an example of that. Arguing about dinner plans and suddenly bringing up that one mistake from 6 months ago. Here's what you can do instead. Stick to the current issue. If the past still hurts, address it separately, not in the heat of the moment. Number 10, using ultimatums. If you don't do this, I'm leaving. This sounds strong, but it's rooted in fear, not respect. Here's why it's destructive. It pressures your partner into action through threat, not mutual understanding. Here's an example of that. Saying, propose by next year or we're done, without ever having real conversations about timelines or needs. Here's what you can do instead. Say, this is what I need to feel secure. Can we work through it together? Number 11, I'm just being honest. Honesty is great until it's used to excuse cruelty. Here's why it's destructive. It justifies hurtful comments. Here's an example of that. Saying, you've gained weight, and following it by, I'm just being real. Here's what you could do instead. Be honest, but also be kind. Ask yourself, would I want this said to me in that tone? Number 12, withholding affection as punishment. Shutting down physically or emotionally to punish them. Here's why it's destructive. It teaches them that love is conditional and only available when they behave a certain way. Here's an example of that. They upset you and you go cold. No hugs, no text, just silence and distance. Here's what you can do instead. Say, I'm upset right now, but I still care about us. I need a bit of space, but I'm not abandoning you. Number 13, shaming their emotions. You're too sensitive. Why are you crying again? Here's why this is destructive. It makes your partner feel ashamed for how they process feelings. Over time, they'll stop being vulnerable. Here's what you can do instead. Validate first. I can see that that really affected you. Want to talk about it? Number 14, blaming everything on who you are. That's just how I am. I've always been this way. Here's why that's destructive. Growth gets blocked and relationships thrive on evolution. Here's an example of that. Refusing to change harmful communication habits just because you're just blunt. Here's what you can do instead. Be open to feedback. Ask your partner, how can I show up better for you? Number 15, not taking responsibility. Saying, that's not what I meant, instead of acknowledging harm. Here's why it's destructive. It gaslights. It forces your partner to doubt their reality, even when their hurt is valid. Here's what you can do instead. Say, I didn't mean to hurt you, but I can see that I did. Let's talk about how we can avoid this going forward. You don't need to lie, cheat, or scream to destroy a relationship. Most relationships fall apart quietly from repeated disconnection, invalidation, or emotional avoidance. But here's the good news. These patterns can be unlearned. Emotional intelligence can be built. Empathy can be practiced. Safety can be rebuilt. If this video made you reflect on something you've done or experienced, take that awareness as your first step forward. It's never too late to unlearn, apologize, and recommit to showing up better. Drop a comment. What's one habit or phrase you're actively trying to unlearn in your relationship? Subscribe for grounded, real talk videos on love, trust, healing, and personal growth. Like this video if it gave you something to think about, and share this with someone who needs it. You never know whose relationship you can help save today.